Have you ever begun something with so much excitement, only to lose interest before finishing? A new hobby, a new plan, even a new dream. You feel unstoppable for a week, then gradually let it go. If so, you are not alone. Most people lose to inconsistency, not because they lack talent, but because they lack the patience to keep going. Today's story is about a boy who could not stick to anything. He had energy, he had dreams, but his inconsistency stole everything from him. Listen carefully, because his lesson might save you from the same trap. In a small town lived a boy named Ethan. Everyone said he was bright. He had more ideas than anyone, and he could learn things faster than his friends. But he had one terrible weakness. He could never stay with something long enough to see results. One month, he decided to learn the guitar. His parents bought him a guitar, and he played with excitement. Within a few weeks, when it got harder, he left it in the corner and said, "I'll try something else." Next, he saw his friend painting. That looked exciting too. Ethan begged for brushes and colors. For 2 weeks he painted, then got bored and moved on. Then came football, then computer coding, then cooking, and even writing stories. Every time, Ethan lost interest once things became repetitive. People teased him kindly. Ethan starts everything, finishes nothing. At first he laughed, but slowly, he began to feel empty. He had touched everything but mastered nothing. In the same class was a quiet boy named Daniel. Daniel wasn't faster than Ethan, nor more talented, but Daniel had one habit Ethan didn't. He finished whatever he started. He chose football when they were young, and while others stopped, he showed up to practice day after day. He wasn't spectacular, but over the years, he grew sharper, faster, and stronger. By the time they reached high school, Daniel was captain of the football team. Ethan, in contrast, had abandoned so many things that he had no real skill to show. At first, Ethan thought Daniel was just lucky, or maybe naturally better. But deep down, Ethan knew the truth. Daniel's strength came from one thing he lacked: consistency. One day, after another failure at completing a project, Ethan felt frustrated. He sat near an old neighbor, Mr. Harris, a retired teacher known for his wisdom. Ethan complained, "Why is Daniel so successful? Why does he keep winning while I keep failing? I'm smarter, faster, even more creative, yet I have nothing." Mr. Harris looked at Ethan kindly and said, "Ethan, your problem isn't ability. It's your refusal to stay. You water one plant for 2 days, then abandon it. How can it grow? Daniel waters the same plant every day. Slowly, it becomes a tree." Ethan sat silently. Mr. Harris continued with a story from his youth. "When I was young," Mr. Harris said, "I too tried many things. I jumped from one dream to the next. Then one day, my father told me something. He said, 'A river is powerful, not because it flows fast, but because it flows without stopping.' At that moment, I understood. Greatness doesn't come from doing many things once. It comes from doing one thing many times. That is the secret of consistency." These words pierced Ethan's heart. That night, he lay awake, thinking about all the half-finished things lying around his room. The guitar, the paintbrushes, the football shoes, the books, the computer programs left incomplete. For the first time in his life, Ethan admitted that inconsistency had ruined him more than failure itself. The next morning, he did something shocking. He cleaned his room and gave away nearly everything he had started and abandoned. He kept only one thing: his guitar. He said to himself, "I will play this guitar every day, no matter how difficult, no matter how boring, no matter how long it takes." And he did. At first, progress was slow. His fingers hurt. The strings sounded ugly, and he felt tempted to quit. But this time, he remembered Daniel and Mr. Harris. He pressed forward. Weeks turned into months. Slowly, chords began to sound smoother. Songs that once felt impossible started flowing from his fingers. For the first time, Ethan felt proud. Not because he was instantly great, but because he had stayed. Years later, at a school event, Ethan performed in front of hundreds of students. His guitar playing stunned the crowd. His friends, who once mocked him for never finishing, were speechless. Afterward, Daniel came up and said, "Now you understand. Success comes from finishing, not just starting." Ethan nodded, smiling. This story shows us something powerful. Talent is wasted without consistency. The student who studies a little every day will outperform the genius who studies only when motivated. The athlete who trains daily, even in silence, will beat the one who trains hard for 1 week and disappears the next. The dreamer who keeps building slowly will always surpass the dreamer who jumps from one idea to another. Consistency is not glamorous. It is boring, repetitive, even frustrating. But invisible days of discipline add up to visible success. Inconsistency gives the illusion of progress while stealing your future. Consistency may feel slow, but it builds a foundation that cannot collapse. How can you build consistency in your own life? Here are 3 keys. Pick one focus. Do not start 10 things at once. Choose one and commit. 2. Show up daily, even if small. 10 minutes daily beats 4 hours once a month. 3. Trust the process. Results won't come quickly. Patience is the price of mastery. Ethan's story is the story of many of us. We get excited. We start with energy. But then we quit when progress feels slow. What we forget is that greatness isn't in starting. It's in staying. Remember, this genius is not about doing different things. It is about doing the same important thing again and again until you master it. So, tomorrow, when you feel like quitting, do not. Stay. Stay even when it's boring. Stay even when it's hard. Because consistency, not talent, is the true secret of progress. This was Thais of Light. If this story touched your heart, share it so more people can learn the power of consistency. Subscribe for more inspiring stories that bring clarity and encouragement to your journey. Until next time, stay patient, stay steady, and keep moving forward.